Hello everybody and replay viewers. We're here, the Stigma Pledge, and let me turn it around. And it didn't share on. If y'all can do that, let me set up my camera here. Hi guys. Alright, here we go. Oh, hi Sandy. Whoa. There we go, there we go. My sister made a sign for me, and it looks backwards on there, I think. It's supposed to be hashtag MIA. How does it look, Cindy, on your phone? It's good? It's good. Okay. No, it's right? Okay. It looks backwards to me because I think, yeah, I see backwards most of the time. So, it's good. My sister's sitting off to the side over here. Okay, guys. My name's Izzy, and I'm named after my father. His name is Isabel Valdez, and I'm named Isabel Valdez. Well, go figure. So, he's been known as Izzy. I'm just go by Izzy too. Mental health awareness, MIA. I'm gonna try and I typed out some stuff so I could share with you guys. I have bipolar 2 disorder, and I suffer from anxiety attacks along with a lot of other physical illnesses. I was born in Merced, California, and we moved here to San Antonio in 1979. My mother, she's diabetic, and she has a heart condition. She almost died from a heart attack when I was little. She has bipolar as well, and she changed when we moved here to Texas in 1979. She was real happy over there in California, and things got really dark, and I'm going to try and keep it light, but I do need to let you know what happened. And my sister, I live with my sister and my niece now. My sister is schizophrenic and has bipolar disorder. My niece is as well. She has bipolar disorder and defiant disorder. I have my disability. My sister's been waiting for 10 years, but we make it work a lot of the time. We try and stay out of each other's way for the most part, right, Cindy? And well, for me, it built up in my childhood. My mother was very abusive because of her bipolar. She was out of her mind a lot here in California. And, well, look at my hair. You know, I didn't want to brush it, right? So here I am at the age of 9 running around, just running around. Crazy kid, always hyper. That was me, always hyper. She said, you better brush your hair now, brush it. And of course, with some choice words in there. She sat me in a kitchen chair and got the shears that you cut material with, and she cut my hair. She gave me bangs right here, and she cut it up to here, and she cut the back part in another mullet style. I don't know what the hell she did. But and then I had to go to school the next day looking like that, when all the kids, they used to love my hair, and I loved my hair, it's like, God. And after that, at age 10, she was very abusive, and at the age of 10, I didn't want to pick up my dolls, my toys, and everything. They were all over my room, so she threw them in the trash can. And that was happening in the morning, and when it happened, I was a kid. I was 10 years old. I kept trying to get my dolls out. I had maybe 1 or 2 Barbies, but a lot of little toys and things. I kept trying to get them out, and she'd smack me every time I go for the trash can. So I never got those toys back. And I always asked for an easy bake oven, and my sister, they would always say, you're just going to eat raw dough, and what do you want that for? But, every kid wants an easy bake oven back in the 70s. So, but I never did get my easy bake oven. And I really thought this past Christmas was going to be the year, but it wasn't. But now I have a real oven, and I know how to bake cakes now. Another thing that she would do when my sister had to have braces, and since I'm 5.5 years younger, every time she said, you better tell me when you have a loose tooth so that we can just pull it out. And I'd be like, okay, let me tell her, well, Mom, this tooth is starting to get loose. And okay, so here we go to the kitchen, sit in that chair right there. And she'd get a set of pliers and a kitchen towel, and she'd yank out my teeth as soon as they were loose, just a little bit. And I didn't know that was wrong. I had no idea. I was a kid. I didn't know. I didn't know that it was wrong until I became an adult. And I told one of my friends, a coworker, yeah, I have straight teeth now because my mom used to do this. You know, and she says, Isabel, that's wrong. And I was like, really? I didn't know that, you know. But when you're living in it, you don't see it. You're living in the middle of psychosis. And I was suffering through my mom's. And my sister was suffering through her. Sorry. So we lived across the street from church. And she made me go to church all the time. But wouldn't you know it, that's where I found my saving grace. A belief in something bigger than me, something good, something bigger than anything that I've ever known. And God's there, but I'm talking about music. Music was there, and music saved me from all that abuse. And I'm playing in the background now a CD that I recorded in 2006, before I lost the ability to really play the way I wanted to, because I was losing my heart and soul. I had a big breakdown. I started suffering from physical illnesses. So that was at the age of 11, and then I went to play, and I watched the girls in the choir at church play the guitar, and within 2 weeks I was playing guitar in church with a little toy guitar. And, there's the other side of bipolar. My mother was so proud of me that we were poor, because my dad was getting paid $7 an hour to be a heavy equipment mechanic, fixing tractors. We live in Texas, of course. But he was awesome. He would do all that stuff. And so the flip side to my mother, the good side, when I told her I want a 12-string guitar, can you hand me? And I still have that guitar here. Her and my dad sold tamale plates to buy me this exact 12-string guitar right here. It's the same one. It's a Yamaha 12-string. It's got strings in it, but it's busted. If I try to play it now, I'd probably get tetanus, because look at that. I'd probably get tetanus, and I don't think I got my tetanus shot. But the frets on here are pretty close, worn down to the wood, because, thanks Cindy, because I used to fall asleep with this guitar on top of me, because I was playing so much, and playing so much during the day, so many hours, and learning how to sing and playing, and my family be yelling at me to shut the F up and quit your damn howling, and I'd be all, nope, I'm gonna play, and there I was until I'd fall asleep, point, guitar right on top of me, only to get woken up by my mom once again with a chancla, whack, over and over, all over my legs and everything. Get up! What are you doing? Don't you realize? Because she was like, what we did to get you that guitar, we'll never be able to afford another one. If you roll over and if you break that guitar, there's not going to be anything. And we won't be able to play at church, and you can't play for my friends. And that's what her big deal was. She was proud because she could brag, She could brag about, guilt and shame. Shame on you. Shame on you for wanting to play so much that you fell in love with the guitar and fell asleep with it. But she had a point, but she could have done it a different way. And so I went on to be a choir director at St. Leo's there, and church and everything. And there's one last tough part, well, two tough parts to my story here, having to deal with this. My mother tried to kill me. Definitely, she really did. When I was 18 years old, got my first college boyfriend. And she didn't like that. We weren't allowed to date. We weren't allowed to visit friends. We weren't allowed to do sleepovers because you never know what other people are going to do to her daughter. So my first boyfriend, college boyfriend, she had me on the ground strangling. She was strangling me. She had me by the neck. She had me on the ground. She knocked me down to the floor. And she was choking the hell out of me. And my eyes were popping out of my head. And I remember I couldn't breathe. My father standing in the doorway, leaning on the doorway saying, "What's going on?" And before you know it, there comes my sister, Cindy, once again. As always, she pulled my mom off of me, and she threw herself at her, and she pulled her off just in time. And my mother looked at my sister with dead eyes and said, "Why did you stop me? Why did you stop me?" That's how bad she got. She lost it. She went bonkers. She lost it. She went bananas. She was wearing her kooky pants that day. What other words do they say about people like that? Well, I continued. After that, my Uncle Wally, my mother's brother, who was also the same way as she was with his adoptive children, abusive, he moved us in with his Marine brother, Charlie. He was from the World War II veteran, a Purple Heart Award winner. He's passed now, but God bless him. He took me and my sister in, and I continued to go to college, studied music, radio in college. I was a DJ on the college station. Studying guitar at the age of 21. I had started driving the city buses because I wanted to drive, and I didn't have the money to drive a car, so I said, well, hell, I'm going to drive the city bus. Got that. I got it. I got the license and CDL driver's license, drove the city bus for 2 years. And it was awesome. I didn't have any accidents, and I didn't run anybody over because I was working, that my bipolar hadn't kicked in. And I had a boyfriend at that time, and I ended up getting pregnant, out of wedlock. I had my own apartment and everything. And I had to end the pregnancy because of medical issues. And that is when bipolar roared its ugly head. Had a chemical change, a chemical imbalance with all the past things that happened. And anxiety attacks started, and I couldn't drive the bus anymore because I was responsible for the lives of people. The lives of people on an everyday basis, and I couldn't see myself putting other people in a danger, physical danger, because I couldn't think straight. So I went into therapy for many years, and I was living with a boyfriend for 3 years. Then I met my ex-husband now in church. There, I was still singing at church, on and off. He was an opera singer. He was so awesome. All I noticed about him was his voice. He was a tenor, sounded like Pavarotti. So cool, he still is. He's really cool. But he also had a nervous breakdown, and our marriage sadly ended 10 years ago, after being married for 10 years. And with no children, because I wasn't able to have any. So 10 years ago, my physical illnesses started, and I suffer from mast cell activation syndrome, which is hives and welts inside and outside of my body, having to deal with histamine levels that are always out of whack. So I never know on a day-to-day basis what I'm going to be allergic to. I have to carry an EpiPen. My throat closes on me, and it cuts off my airway sometimes. Suffer from polycystic ovarian syndrome. I have a cyst in my left knee from an injury. I have carpal tunnel, osteoarthritis of the entire pelvis. So I'm in a lot of excruciating pain. And I have a bone spur in the left hip of my joint from falling in the bathroom one year. And it's cracked, and I have a knife of a bone. I have a knife made of my own bone sticking in my hip. So some days it hurts more than others. And if my attitude's bad, my bipolar's acting up, I'm not going to even get out of bed. And the hives cause me to have back spasms. Sometimes I'll go 3-4 days with back spasms. And it's just, sometimes it can be a living hell. So after I became disabled and I couldn't work anymore I got divorced, I couldn't work anymore at that bank. I was working at a bank, making over $16 an hour, which was awesome for San Antonio. I started getting physically ill. The mast cell, everything started triggered. And I just couldn't work anymore. I had gastrointestinal problems because of the inside hives, and it's kind of gross, but I was bleeding from where I'm not supposed to bleed from, you know? And that's because there were hives all in there, and it was busting my insides apart. Sometimes it happens again, and it does happen on month to month. Who knows when it's going to hit me because of the hives. I never know when I have them inside. I only know when my throat closes or the welts come up on my skin. It feels real hot. It's real bad. And after that, I couldn't work. I couldn't afford to stay at the apartment with the house that I was renting with the gay friend of mine, Matt. And he is so awesome. I love the guy. He suffers from schizophrenia and bipolar and everything. We attract each other. And so we understood each other. And after that, I lived at my late maternal grandmother's land in a one-room cabin with no running water, and it was a 10 by 10 room that my father had built. My parents own it, so I was back under the thumb of my parents again, you know, and back under the thumb. And I had to walk 200 feet to get to the bathroom. And I have a walker, a rollating walker with the wheels on it. Hi, Kaizo. And thank you so much for coming, all of you. And I just had to walk to the bathroom, and I was so embarrassed because the neighbors, I didn't know the neighbors. So freaking embarrassing. Everybody knew when I had to go take a hello, you know, and everybody knew when I was taking a shower or I hadn't been able to take a bath for a week. Yeah, I would go like a week, and my hair would be so nasty, and I just hated myself. I hated it, but there was nothing I could do. I was in the middle of psychosis again, because I was depressed. I couldn't play my guitar. It was horrible. My mother wouldn't stop with her bull crap. She kept coming around, because my grandmother had stuff stored over there in the storage, and one day, she came over and she says, "Get your butt out here and help us." Of course, I'm cleaning up the language, and help us clear out this old storage of your grandmother's. There's all this shit out. I'm sorry, all this stuff out here, and I'm starting to lose it because I'm remembering stuff. So this was the worst day that I have ever had. Out of all those days, the worst day I've ever had. She wouldn't stop. And I was in that little room, and I was like, "Please stop." And I told her, "You're pushing me, Mom. You're pushing me. Can you just please stop? Can you just stop? Can you stop? Can you stop?" And she was like, "No." And and I was like, "Son of a, you know what? I'm going to kill you." That's what I thought in my head. I'm going to stop you. If you won't shut your big fat mouth up, I'm not going to put up with you anymore. I can't take it anymore. I put up with it for too long. So I got the keys to my Chevrolet Caprice with that big old 8-cylinder engine in it, and I love that freaking car so much. Well, it'd been sitting there for 2 weeks because I hadn't been able to drive. Exactly, moment of truth. And I'd had no control over my bipolar at that moment. I was like, "You tried to kill me, I'm going to do you in." That car, she was sitting behind it in her walker, because she has a walker. After I got my walker, my mother decided to get a walker. And, you know, I started that car up, and it sputtered a little bit, but I didn't look back. I threw it in reverse, and I stepped on that pedal, and that car wouldn't move. It didn't move until she got out of the way, because there was something else holding it, or because, I don't know if there was greater power holding it to protect me and protect her, or if the car was just sitting there for too damn long. But something saved me from not being able to do that. And thank God it did, you know, like, wow, how would I have felt? As it was, I was so wrought with guilt that I was planning after that to kill myself. And I gave that car away to somebody. I gave away the 12-string Takamine guitar that my ex-husband had bought me, that I used to record this CD. I was giving everything away. I didn't want to live anymore, because who tries to kill your mother? I don't care what they did. Why? And it was all because of the, you know, not to take off the responsibility of myself and accountability. I had bipolar. Yeah, she was pushing me. She was abusive. But at that moment, I had no control. And since then, I have learned to take my medications and stay positive, and always try and stay positive, because the more positive I am, the less I have trouble with these hives and everything. My anxiety goes down. You know, I don't have the hives. My body stops trying to kill me from inside. Now, I have some good friends at the Bonham Exchange here in San Antonio, Texas. I did do Skip for Good for Brooke from there. My friend Curtis helped me. I danced in the disco lights with my walker and everything. It's on my couch, if y'all want to see that. It's the Skip for Good. That was my skip. I couldn't skip rope, but I could dance. And Pete was there, and Nelcha was there, and they shared it out. It was awesome. And my friend Curtis helped me. I have a second family at the bottom. And I'm going to tell you something that what freaked me out about Vin and Buddy was that my friend, who was so awesome, he was awesome, I say past tense, his name was Torrance. And last year, August of last year, he was brutally stabbed and murdered to death with a kitchen knife in his kitchen by his partner. And I just thought, oh my God, that could have been my friend again. And I cried all day for Buddy. And I kept praying and praying for Buddy and praying for Vin so that he could be strong. And I don't want anybody else to know the pain of losing your friend to something so horrible. Something so horrible like that. And Torrance was 7 feet tall, over 7 feet tall. He was a drag queen, and not all the time, but he would work the door, and he was a drag queen, and he would help everybody with their wigs, and he was just so awesome, and he loved everyone, and if he couldn't stand you, he wouldn't tell you to your face, because he didn't want somebody that was having emotional problems to know that. He worked for the state hospital with the at-risk youth that were committed to the state hospital for the disabilities with the mental illness. And he was so awesome. And then one of my other biggest losses that I've had was my Uncle Jesse. He got hit by 2 cars in the highway off of Highway 281 South. And you know why he got hit? He went to go save his dog. His dog ran out into the highway, and he went out there to go save and got hit by a drunk driver and then a second car that didn't see him. And that's my dad's brother. He was pretty cool too. And, you know, he was nice to us. He just didn't like my mother, and I don't blame him, because he knew how she was. And from this point on, you know what stops all that pain is music, and it continues to save my life on a daily basis. Right now, I support 2 independent musicians monetarily. I'm on disability. I don't give much. It's like $1 a month or whatever. But on Patreon.com, I have an artist named Peleke. He's a heavy metal artist. He's got a 4-octave range of vocal ability. He plays all the instruments himself. He's from Norway, and we talk to each other through Patreon.com. Another guy I have is Chase Holfelder. He's from North Carolina. I've just been sharing out his Twitter. He does covers. He does major to minor. He does a bunch of music. He plays all the instruments himself. I support him. And then one graphic artist named Tracy Butler here from the United States. She does an online cat comic called Laxadaisy. And, you know, last year, I know the times, I got 4 minutes or so. Last year I started, this is my CD. And Last year I started painting before I found Periscope. Here's the first one. Ew. It's just a flower. Here's the second one. I said, paint what you know. So here's a treble clef. But I was still in a dark mood, so that's why I put the black. And this was my last painting on Ankh because I love Egypt so much. And that's why I watch Helmi over there. And this is my other art project. It's a bunch of hearts inspired by Periscope. Because I found Periscope app in July, I guess, of last year. And I started watching Ron Waxman. And I was like, oh yeah, this guy's cool, you know. He's just laid back. I wasn't even getting out of bed at this time when I was watching Ron. And I still watch him to this day. He is my friend, mutual friend, and we do talk to each other. And so I'm part of the Wax Nation. Wax Nation, we rock. And then I was looking at the map thing for Periscope, and I was like, yeah, he's in London right now. And I was looking at the map on Periscope for something from Hawaii, because I like Hawaii. I always wear Hawaiian shirts. People make fun of me. I'm in Texas, but, you know, friends of always, I'm like, I don't care. Make fun of me if you want. I'm in pain. You can make fun of whatever you want, because I love Hawaii. So I found Sandy Choi just by accident. Maybe not. I think it was divine intervention. So I found Sandy. I've been watching her ever since. Been part of Scopeback Mountain. And then I found Babylon Brook, the Babblers, and Amber Lynn out of Australia, the Baggies. I'm part of the Baggies. And first and foremost, oh, and then Bo Cody. I'm part of the homies. Yay! Because we're awesome. And he makes me happy with his music and his positive attitude. I watch him almost every day. And if he is not on, I start to get worried that that something's wrong. Because he's always playing. You know, Bo's always playing. And so I think I have time to play one song. So with that, that's how I get past everything. Let me do one song, and then that'll be it for me, all right? Let me turn that off. I'll be right back. Let's turn that on. This is a little 6-string guitar. It's one of the ones that my ex-husband found in a pawn shop, along with the Roland amp that he gave me. Luckily, my illness didn't let me give this stuff away, or else I would be SOL. Look at that, stayed in tune. It's a miracle. Let's see, where's my song? I have the words here. I do. So I love it. And you know, you guys you're a big support to me. My sister's my savior in the literal sense. You guys have been my saviors all over again, and inspired me. All the musicians on there have inspired me to start playing again. And I didn't want to play, but I am going to play. Yeah, my sister is Cindy Vampire. Too, if you want to put some emojis, that's my sister. She watches. She doesn't get on Scope very often. So this song reminds me of you guys, and the homies, because it's supposed to be a love song, but I love you. And let me turn it sideways so you want to see the guitar. Oh, don't get dizzy. Let's see. It messed up. No, there it is. There it is. I'm waiting for my new Archon mount. There we go. Everybody, turn your phone on the side, because that's how bipolar is. 1 second you're okay, and the next minute you're on your side. The dawn is breaking. A light shining through your belly breaking, and I'm tangled up in. Whoa! Sorry, hello. I told you. Didn't I say? Oh, I'm so sorry. Do you have a headache now? I'm sorry. 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 Did I do that? I'm sorry. Sorry. I'm open, you're closed. Where I follow your road. I worry I won't see your face. Light up again, 'cause even the best fall down sometimes. Even the wrong words seem to rhyme. Out of the dark that fills my mind, you somehow find you and I glide. You and I glide. You and I glide. There we go. I shortened it because, you know, it is. I do love that effing song too. Thanks for saying that. By the way, you can always use the letter F, unless you have bipolar. Sometimes the UCKING part comes out. So, but who's next, guys? We got to put some emojis up there. Thank you so much for listening. I saved this story because I didn't feel comfortable, but I'm never cutting my hair again. It's already down to my hello. Nobody's ever cutting my freaking hair again. You got that? And nobody's going to make me brush it if I don't want to. So, who's next? Oh, After Chloe is next. And where is she? I love you guys. I love all of you. Everybody that's made a connection with me, you're awesome. You really are. So, I'm going to get off here. I'm going to go listen to Metallica because, once again, Metallica, y'all didn't hear it, but Metallica was my driving force, aside from my guitar playing. Can't play for anything, but I love Metallica. And how do they do in Hawaii? I love you guys. It's not letting me end. It doesn't want me to go. I broke it. No, I didn't break it. I'm sorry if you got a headache, but here we go. See that? There we go. Hashtag MIA. Don't be MIA anymore. Bye, guys.